Thank you very much for the invitation to present some the issue of the general financial transactions. Next, I would like to discuss this issue in the context of long-term economic development. And long-term economic development can be conceived as a sequence of two types of capitalism. One type I call real capitalism. Why? Because striving for profits is the key energy in capitalism, and if striving for profits is concentrated on activities in the real economy, if the framework conditions are that the rate of interest is below the rate of economic growth, that the exchange rates are stabilized, in other words, if the incentive conditions are such that you can't make big profits through financial speculation, then the real economy moves. Think of the 50s and 60s in Western Europe or of China. And finance capitalism is another regime where striving for profits is more and more concentrated on the financial sphere. And the long cycle can be conceived as the sequence of a real capitalistic regime. Think of the 50s and 70s, followed by a crisis phases dominated by finance capitalism. From this interpretation, it's clear we are now in the true phase of the long cycle, 50s, 60s, 70s, upward movement, and since then downward movement. And the true phase is characterized by a tremendous high degree of disorientation. So the elites have lost their orientation. Why? Because the old navigation map doesn't work anymore. In this case, the neoliberal navigation map, but the new map has not yet been found. And in such a situation, a financial transactions tax might be a useful step into the right direction, but it is certainly not sufficient. My research is very much based on field research. Over 30 years I'm going to trading rooms, I'm speaking to traders, I try to understand which trading systems to use, and from that I derive some preliminary results. I would like to start with some propositions. Trading has become more and more short-term oriented. At the same time, asset prices move in long-term bull markets and bear markets, lasting several years, increasingly driven by technical trading systems. Why? Because a bull market and a bear market is the result of the accumulation of very short-term monotonic price movements, as I will try to show you. So the long run is nothing else than the accumulation of increasingly fast short-term speculation. Therefore, the most important prices for entrepreneurial behavior, namely exchange rates, commodity prices, interest rates, and stock prices, move in many compressive fluctuations. So the sequence of bulls and bears, in my interpretation, is the essence of financial markets and not an exception. And under these conditions, of course, striving for profits of the business sector has shifted from the real to the financial economy. The current crisis for me is a process of the self-destruction of finance capitalism, which happened always in economic history. There are many phases where you can show how finance capitalism destructs itself, because there are assets produced which have no real value, and therefore you get some kind of fundamental disequilibrium. The Silver crisis is just one example. Now let's take a look at the pattern of speculative prices. In this case, you see the S&P 500 to US stock prices. They triple within 4 years, which of course doesn't make sense from a fundamental point of view. If you look carefully, you would see that the bull market is brought about because underlying upward movements last longer than counter movements, and not because upward movements are steeper. This is a fundamental contradiction to the basic assumption of equilibrium theory, because according to equilibrium theory, any movement in the asset market should be driven by new information on market fundamentals. And exactly this phenomenon of trending is then and exploited by computer-based trading systems. In this case, based on daily data, but this pattern repeats itself across different data frequencies or time scales. So if you look at 30-minute data for the same price, you will see again, on the basis of 30-minute data, this sequence of monotonic price movements downward or upward. And exactly these movements are exploited by trading systems. In this case, an extremely primitive system. You just calculate one moving average, and the trading system is then sell whenever the current price crosses the moving average from above, and buy back when the price crosses the moving average from below. Of course, in the real world now, much more sophisticated systems are used. But look at the most important price for European entrepreneurs. This is the exchange rate of the euro vis-à-vis the dollar. You can clearly see the phenomenon of underlying trends. The tremendous doubling of the exchange rates from 85 cents to 160 is brought about in the sequence of these underlying trends. These are, again, daily data. These are 5-minute data. You can move to higher and higher data frequencies, of course, then need more sophisticated speculation systems. Look at the oil price. You can clearly see that the tripling of the oil price within 18 months before the financial crisis broke out is again brought about by this sequence of upward movements. And you can also clearly see that even such a primitive speculation system would have brought tremendous profits. Why? Because if you speculate on falling prices, your profits are always much higher than on rising prices. Why? Because usually the fall of prices is faster than the upward movement. So in this case, you would get the open short position here and close the position down at this level. This kind of speculation has now penetrated all asset markets. So, for example, this is the development of rice futures prices, a fantastic bull market. Developed. The same is true for wheat and corn and other raw materials. And to sum up these empirical results, I would say they contradict completely the modern asset market theory. Why? Because according to asset market theory, a market is not even weakly efficient, meaning a market is completely inefficient if you can make extra profits just based on the information of past prices. This is the definition of weak market efficiency. But all these speculation systems are only based on past prices. They completely disregard market fundamentals. Second observation is that, as I said already, these money depressive fluctuations to me are the essence. And if you talk to market participants, if you talk to traders, they are thinking in this kind of expectational regimes. Is there a bullishness? Is the market sentiment bullish? Is it bearish? These are very important categories to understand concrete behavior of agents in those markets. I skip this for lack of time, just to mention one important phenomenon. This is the feedback from the trading on price dynamics. Because if those trading systems produce a bulk of either buy or sell signals, then of course the execution of these signals reinforce the current price trend. And I have done some empirical work on that, but I skip this. Now, some observations on the phenomenon of bulls and bears over the past decades. Here, stock prices. It is impossible that the real value of German corporations tripled, fall back, tripled, fall back. Now we are here, and the banks and profits, as the professionals say to the amateurs, you should miss this kind of bull market. When they say usually you should be very careful. Here the exchange rate of the euro or the EQ vis-a-vis to the relative to the fundamental equilibrium. You see this kind of fluctuations around the fundamentals. The fundamentals do not serve as an equilibrium, but rather as an attractor in the sense of chaos theory. So the more you go away from this fundamental equilibrium, the stronger becomes the counter forces. But this, of course, means that for entrepreneurs, decisions are becoming more and more difficult, and they themselves start to speculate, of course. Nice example is the fluctuations of the dollar exchange rate since the down of the Bretton Woods system, and Professor Bauerstein is completely right when he says the origin of our current crisis lies in the early 1970s, when stable financial market conditions were given up, and the first step was, of course, giving up the system of stable exchange rates, because immediately the dollar lost 25% of its value. And there's only one loser in the world economy if the dollar loses 25%. Those are oil producing countries of the Middle East, because they had no other product than oil. So they fought back with the first oil price shock, second dollar depreciation, second oil price shock. Also in the recent years you see this clear inverse relationship between the dollar exchange rate and oil prices. It is clear that those conditions destabilize activities in the real economy, and this can be. But let me bring just one further chart, which now leads to the financial transaction tax, which is one indicator of this tremendous shifting of striving for profits to the financial sphere. So the idea is that money works, but money does not work. And this is the issue. Here you see the volume of financial transactions. Nowadays, the world GDP is turned over 17 times in financial markets. This is obviously a crazy development. And what was the consequence? Take just an example of German non-financial business. This is the German business sector, the real economy. Under real financial, under real capitalism, of course, they accumulated real capital. They had to hold financial capital to the bank account. First oil price shock, second oil price shock, and over 20 years, real accumulation goes down, and finance accumulation of non-financial business goes up. So entities like Siemens and others are more and more engaged in financial markets, and capitalism cannot work if the business sector wants to become a rentier, if the business sector wants to make money in the financial sphere instead of the real sphere. Last chart, the relationship of the rate of interest and the rate of economic growth is extremely important. In real capitalism, the rate of interest is always held below the rate of economic growth, which makes it much easier for businessmen to invest. And this changed 30 years ago, and since then the rate of interest is higher. Under real capitalist conditions, we move towards full employment, and when you have full employment, also the public debt goes down. If you have a rising unemployment, you will also get, with some lag, rising public debt. It is stupid to think I can consolidate public finances at the expense of unemployment, as it is done in Europe now. And this is the background for the idea of the financial transactions tax. It is no panacea, so it would just be a first step to make very short-term speculation more expensive. So, to stabilize exchange rates and oil prices. Stock prices, of course, also generate revenues, and the idea is to introduce a very small tax of 5 basis points, or just only 1 basis point of the notional value. One can easily show that such a tax would only impede very fast trading on the basis of financial derivatives. and it would not increase the costs, for example, of hedging. Why? Because a hedger does only one transaction to hedge a certain position, and the revenues depend very much on how many countries participate. If the United Kingdom would also participate, which is not the case, revenues would be much smaller, between 30 and say 70 billion dollars. So I spoke only 2 minutes about the transaction tech, and the rest was about the motivation for it. Okay. Thank you.
Stefan, thanks. I'm wondering how rich you are.
Which sense?
Let me elaborate. I understand your system is a real-time system. You can identify at any moment whether the bulls or bears are prevailing. So I'll ask you to dinner whether you ever use your system. But in the meantime, I'd like to know, what is the current state of market psychology? Are we in a bull market or are we in a bear market? What is the cumulative pattern of trades for the last 3-4 years?
In my mind, we are at the end of the bull market. The end of the bull market is always the most fascinating period. Professionals are already willing to get off the price boom. At the same time, they try to seduce the amateurs to get on the price boom. Why? Because their profit will only increase if amateurs, including pension funds, try to ride the trend, meaning it will continue. I mean, you can.
Is what you're saying based on recent analysis of trading over the past 2 to 3 years? Or is this just your opinion?
No, this is based on talks. People, but it is not a scientific thing.
Your data says that you can look at the volume and pattern of trades in a moment of time and identify the character of the market. Is that right?
No, this is not.
I misunderstood you.
Okay, no, this is what is possible is to find out, based on the algorithm over the very short term, that the probability that the upward price movement will develop is higher than the probability of a downward price movement, based on mini data and based on all of algorithms. Now, the phenomenon of a bull market is the result of the accumulation. This example, for example, the accumulation of these shorter price movements, and of course, here you cannot say in advance that the bull market will continue for some time. What you can say is that it has lasted so long already that usually the professionals have already taken a long position. Their profit now depends on more and more amateurs getting on the bandwagon. But any trend necessarily comes to an end because from the logic, less and less people get on the trend. First are the professionals, but of course their profit, this is very simple to explain. All technical models are only based on the phenomenon of trending. This is the only basis. Therefore, their slogan is, the trend is your friend. You can have trend following systems. These are systems where the computer says, after a trend has taken off, jump on the trend. But in the early phase, but you have also contrarian models, which operate is the second difference of prices. They say, even if the price is still going up, but the speed at which the price goes up comes down, then we get closer to a tilt. Then a contrarian jumps off in the late phase of a trend. But it is clear that if these kind of speculation systems exist, then they reinforce the phenomenon of trading, they destabilize the system as a whole. But it is also true that these systems can be pretty profitable. I'm very cautious. It's not a money machine. It is much more sophisticated. Therefore, if amateurs use those systems, the probability that they make losses is much higher than if Goldman Sachs or Deutsche Bank traders use.
First, a brief remark to this debate. The famous saying that markets can stay longer irrational than investors can stay solvent. But the other question I want to put is your financial transaction tax with the very low rates. If I look at the very huge swings, does it really prevent such a kind of behavior of financial markets? Because it would be still, let's say, if I have to pay 0.1% or something like that, and I expect a change in value of 2, 3, or 100%, I will still continue to speculate.
Sure, but speculation works completely different. There are very, very few traders who would open a long position here and get off here. No, the trading is done on an intraday basis. You buy at 9 o'clock, 3 minutes later you sell, you buy again at 9:15. It is done at a very high speed. And the bull market is only the result of the phenomenon. It's like the Matryoshka puppets. You know? On a higher data frequency, you produce 5 little price runs based on mini data. The accumulation of these price runs are calculated on the basis of hourly data constitutes one hourly price trend. Many hourly price trends constitute a trend based on daily data. And the accumulation of these trends leads to this phenomenon. Therefore, if we were, it's a hope, there is no guarantee. But if you can make this kind of short-term exploitation of runs more expensive, then the phenomenon of accumulation of these short-term trends should also become less pronounced. So this is my basic arguments for the transaction.
Правильно ли я понимаю, ваш вариант экономического развития состоит в том, чтобы российские безработные, пенсионеры, больные, их многие миллионы, выходили в интернет и начинали участвовать в игре на бирже?
No, exactly the opposite. Look, these games are zero-sum games. So the sum of all profits is always the sum of all losses. If we observe that Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, and all these professionals consistently make trading profits, there must necessarily be a group which is the group of the losers. These are exactly the amateurs. And I include also pension funds and professionals who, for certain reasons, are not able and not willing or not allowed to play the same game. The pension fund is not allowed to play this kind of derivative short-term speculation game. And this is the key issue. So the amateurs are the losers, and therefore I would not advise them to do so. On the contrary, the less people would speculate, the less would be the profits of the finance activity banks.